So I've got a new Skype. Oh, okay. Sign out. Sign out. Yes. And hopefully, it shouldn't affect this one. So let's see. Right. So that's signed out, and that's online. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's roasting. It is roasting here. It was getting cooler this week. It's got hot again all of a sudden. So it's been a really hot day. I haven't stopped all day today. It's been really manic, really full on day. So I'm sweating and yes. But hello, welcome to the sweaty stream. No, it's really hot. It really is. So, I do these streams every Thursday at 8:30 p.m. and every Sunday morning at 10 a.m. But once a month, I'm going to do a private sitting session, which you can join, which won't be broadcast. It won't be live. It'll be a private meeting online. That'll be once a month. Just done this month's one, and I loved it. And the next one will be in August, so probably August the 12th, I think. Oh, that's July. August the 12th, but I'll post it on my website, rebekahmaroon.com, when I put that on my website. So yeah. So normally I do this for about an hour. But roughly about an hour. And you can ask questions after my introduction. And you ask questions through Skype. And my Skype name is Rebekah Maroon. And this is all linked below or written below the video on YouTube. So you can read it just to remind yourself on what time I do the streams and all that jazz. So let's go. I'm really joking. So I'll just sit for a little bit and then let the introduction come, and then you can ask any questions you might have. So I remember when I first read the Power of Now by Eckhart Tolle. It felt, I was so passionate about that book. It felt like I'd found this hidden treasure. I'd found this treasure. I was so amazed by I'd found this simple message. And that's the way it feels now, this sense of what a treasure that has been discovered. What a treasure this message is. What a wonderful thing to discover, to have come across, to have grown into and to speak about. What a wonderful thing to point to. What a wonderful thing to express. When I eventually surrendered to my depression, this was like, I don't know, 2002, what's that? My math skills are a bit poor. 16 years ago, is it? Yeah, I think 16 years ago. Yeah, 16 years ago. I had no idea that this would happen. I'd been avoiding that breaking. Since being 12 years old. I couldn't handle that breaking. I didn't know what to do. Everyone else seemed to act normal. And I was in so much pain in being here. And it took 10 years before I finally broke. Not sure why I'm mentioning that, but it just came out. It was just expressing how wonderful it is to speak about this message, to point to this message, to allow this message to be spoken. What a wonderful thing to have discovered this message. That this is it. That all you've been longing for is this. It's appearing here. It's appearing now. That which you long for and have always longed for isn't in time, isn't something apart from you, apart from what is happening, where you have to work towards reaching it. You have to fight towards reaching it. You have to earn a place to reach it. You have to be good enough to reach it, purified enough, special enough to reach it. That this is it. what you've been longing for, that deep longing that gets projected into things and people, circumstances, events. That longing, that deep longing is here. It's available. It's your birthright. It's the essence of this appearance. How wonderful. How absolutely wonderful. So then, what are these meetings about? It seems as if when that separation, that longing begins to find wholeness, to find that which was lost at the birth of this sense of separation, it seems as if that whole story of you trying to find wholeness, you trying to find home, has been playing for a relatively long time, 20, 30, 40 years. And so this story of you become complicated and complex, many different layers, different strategies, different ideas and beliefs that have been taken on. And it's gotten stronger and stronger, this sense of you, this sense of being something separate in the body. And so it seems as if that becomes, that tanglement becomes eased, and it loosens, and it untangles, unravels. So life created that appearance. It created the conditioning, the tying up, the bondage, the prison. And then life is creating the undoing of that, the unraveling of that through talk. Are all reflecting home, all reflecting this message. But it seems these talks and retreats and meetings and things, this spirituality that's happened, seems to be for people that are more ready or more conscious of the dissatisfaction with everyday living. People that are tired of everyday living and they're seeking for something more, or seeking for the end of their unhappiness, answers this sense of unhappiness. So then non-duality is heard. And I had asked for this. I had asked to go home. That's why I tried to kill myself. I was one trying to go home, trying to end the suffering of me. And so I was ready and prepared to go home. It didn't quite happen in that way. Things happened and the course was altered. I had no idea what would happen. I had no idea what home was. This is home. This is home. I had no idea that I was masking home. That sense of me was masking or veiling home. And so this whole journey had to happen, or happened, of me trying to get home. And you could say, oh, there was no point in doing all that spiritual stuff because this was home already, but that's what happened. That, I feel, is part of it. In the story, there appears to be a spiritual journey undertaken. And it's a story, but that's what seemed to happen. Because you can point to home as much as you want, and I read books and heard this message over and over. But while that story is playing, that seeking is playing, and it has to play out. It has to do its thing. It's perfect. It's perfect. It can't be any other way. It can't be any other way. This is it. This is what seems to happen. This message is so fucking amazing. I just love it. I just love it. So what am I talking about? There's this beautiful, pristine, immaculate, untouchable freedom. And it's not a thing. It doesn't appear and disappear, so you can't find it and lose it. And that can't be labeled. We do label it to talk about it. We call it nothing. We call it stillness. We call it emptiness. But it can't be touched. It can't be known. It doesn't exist. It's not in existence. But here's the beautiful, here's the beautiful, miraculous part. I either laugh or I cry, one of the two. Here's the miraculous part. So it's not an existence, it doesn't exist. It's not an existence, it doesn't exist. And yet, it is all existence. It's everything. It's everything. It's everything. And yet it's not form. That's what this is. That's what this is. What you long for is this. The mind says all kinds of things it wants. All kinds of things it projects it onto. So it can start running and start working towards it and start living in time. This is too already the case. This is too already. This is too already. So the mind or the brain or thoughts, the intellect, isn't about finding this. The mind is a wonderful thing. It's amazing what the mind is. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. But you won't find freedom with the mind. You've been conditioned to follow the mind. The mind's king. The mind's primary. The mind's in charge. We've been fed so much learning, so much intellectual, mental stuff. So it activated this part of the body, the brain. So it feels like therapy. It's not so much counselling, but the other therapies and healings, meditation, and these yoga and things are about moving away so much from the mind. The mind's a worker. It wants to keep working. It works. It figures things out. It fixes. It's a useful tool. But to live in that, to live in the mind, for the mind to be the dominant thing, what kind of life would that be? How stressful. How problematic. Living in fixing and problems and so to try and find freedom in that. It will always make it at the end of, so you can keep working, keep solving problems. So there's something beyond in the mind, beyond the intellect, that resonates with this pointing. And the mind comes in, thought comes in, trying to understand, trying to categorize, trying to make a map of what is being spoken of, trying to work it out. And that's okay. The mind does that. That's its job. But the mind will never, ever work this out. It doesn't live in the mind. The mind lives in it. The mind's an appearance in it. So there's a movement that happens. So you can imagine an athlete running on a track or something. And this athlete passes all these shops and different sceneries and people and dogs and kids on the street playing, and it passes a fire, burning building, it passes a fairground, it passes a park, it passes a funeral parlour, it passes a church, it passes a funeral or wedding, sorry. It passes, it's running through thunder and rain, it's running through sunshine, it's running through clouds and all different things happening. So everything's always changing. The ground is sometimes rocky, sometimes it's grass. It passes happy people who wave at it, wave at him or her. It passes people who are crying, people who are arguing and fighting on the street. It passes everything. The runner keeps running, moving through all the changes, through spring, through summer, through autumn, through winter. It's going round and round on this track, seemingly through changes, seemingly moving somewhere. This is what this is. It seems to be moving somewhere. All these changes seem to happen. Feels as if you're getting closer or getting nearer, moving along a timeline. But it only seems that way. It only looks that way. There's something that isn't in that isn't moving, that isn't changing. And this is what I would call freedom, the discovery of that which isn't moving, that isn't changing. And this I would call the loss of everything. We're so identified to these different scenes, and things that seem to be happening, the people, the events that seem to happen around us, who we think we are. So this is the loss of everything that you think you are. The emptying out of all you've collected as who you are. The loss of things in normal life, it seems to be a negative thing, a bad thing. When you lose something or lose someone, it's a negative thing. How we generally interpret it. But it points to what you are and what you're not. If you've lost something and there's still this existence, then that thing couldn't have been so important because this still is. It didn't need that thing. It lost. So this is a discovery of what you are, that which can't be lost. All these things you thought you were can be lost because they were never true. They were never who you are. They were ideas, beliefs, they were thoughts. In this moment without thought, who are you? You would need thought to describe anything. And thoughts aren't bad. It's just that we've identified with them. They've become an identity. They've become so meaningful and so true. They just describe something, but they've become like a reality. Rather than a story, a description of something, it's become a truth, a reality, meaningful. So it seems as if it all must be stripped away, it all must be seen through. And this is the loss of everything. That you aren't a thing in this world. That you aren't anything. And then what is left is everything. I don't mean to describe it in stages, but that's what happened here. It was like a seeming the date or period. It wasn't so clear cut, but in again describing it and using words, that's the way words are. Then there is everything. And that everything can only be nothing. And that is what you are. Nothing, not a thing. In all things. There's nothing else. Nothing else but you, or nothing else but this. However you want to say it in words. I don't mind either way. I used to be more stricter, very non-dual in language, very strict. But then I fell in love. Love happened. Love happened. The love part happened. And yeah. It didn't matter. It didn't matter. So maybe I should answer some questions now. Hi, Claudia. I love this song, the love song with lyrics. I'll play it later. Thank you. Hi, Lara. Hey, I am live. Yes, I'm live. Ramon. Hi, Rebecca. You are streaming. Yep. For you, it happened quickly after reading Eckhart Tolle's book. For some like me, it takes a bit longer. I wouldn't say it happened quickly after that book. No, I wouldn't say it happened quickly after that book. But that was just the first book that I really felt like, oh my God, what have I found? It was just amazing. But yeah, then it was like so many awakenings, like thousands of awakenings after. But lots of glimpses in that, lots of, yeah, this. Great you are open to talk about wanting to commit suicide. It moves me to hear you talking about your journey. Oh. Yeah. I talk about it because it was quite a big part of my life, really. That period of depression. It was quite a long period of depression, from 12 till 22. 10 years of it. So it was quite to admit it would be quite a large chunk of my life taken out, and it was a big thing that got me into spirituality. So yeah. But thank you, Mama. Yeah. So This is it. This is it. Nothing's happened. Words were spoken, it seems, but there's only a memory of that, only another thought of that. See, that movement seems to appear, but it can't be captured. You can record it and play it back. But you can only play it back in this blank, fresh start. This blank, freshness. Always this. No matter what seems to be appearing. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay, so we shall leave it there until Sunday. I'm back on Sunday at 10:30 a.m.